Good afternoon, Gloria. How are you doing this morning?
Good, and yourself?
Good, thank you. I'm so glad you were able to meet with me this morning. Thank you so much. Can you go over your week? How was your week?
It was interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would you say interesting?
Well, I finally talked to my parents. I did some research, and I decided to meet with my parents on a family basis and tell them what I thought about my academic plans.
Okay, and then were you able to look up some programs and maybe some schools that possibly became interest or were interested in?
I looked up a couple schools, and I looked up their curriculums, their prerequisites, and their requirements, just like you suggested that I do before speaking to my parents, so they knew that I was very sure about my career change, so I can present strong arguments as to why I didn't want to pursue anything in the medical field. So I did, and I took it even a step further. I spoke to an advisor.
Oh, wow. Okay. And this is from one of the schools that you're looking into to apply? Okay.
And there's a program where you can graduate with a master's, and there's a bachelor's program, so there's two routes. I'm looking into the master's route, so I went and I spoke to one of their admissions counselor, and I brought a copy of my transcripts and what classes I had acquired, and I have most of their prerequisites, just a few I'm missing, which they said I can take concurrently with the program.
Okay.
And then their next admission is for the fall. I missed the spring admission, but I can apply for the fall admission, and it's an interesting program. It's a 4-year program. It's pretty intense, but it sounds very interesting to me. So, you know, I've even started the application process already as well.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great. I'm so glad that you went in there to meet with an academic counselor. You came prepared with your transcripts. You're able to lay out what classes you have already taken, so it gives the advisor a better idea of where you're standing and then where to moving forward. That's really great. Now, what are the next steps? Have you applied? Did you say that you applied already?
No, I can start the admission process,
Okay.
but it's not for the spring because I've already missed the deadline. The deadline is the first week of February,
Oh, gotcha.
so it would have to be for the fall, which is still okay because I can try to finish the 2 courses that I'm missing for my general education requirements probably in the summer,
Okay.
and that way it'll be less stressful in the program itself because I don't want to take additional classes. I want to just take the classes required for the program.
Definitely. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and finish the remaining courses for this semester, of course. And then I definitely wish you the best of luck on transferring onto the school that you think that will be best fit for you. It's really exciting, and I'm really excited for you.
Thank you.
Now, I did notice, were you under the weather a little bit?
I am. I'm really, really sick, but I didn't want to miss the last session with you because I wanted to share with you how it had gone with my mom and dad.
Yeah, well, thank you, Gloria. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your commitment, even though you're under the weather. Thank you so much. And I did want to remind you that whatever we do talk about here today only stays among us and only us, okay? So this is the last session, so we'll go ahead and get moving so then you can go home and rest up, okay?
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, my medication's starting to wear off, so
no, I'm so
starting
sorry.
to get super congested.
Oh no, can you breathe okay?
I'm fine, yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Now, you did mention that you spoke to your parents. Can you go ahead and describe the experience?
Well, I was really anxious because I just had this idea that, we were going to go out to dinner and, I was going to break the news to them really slowly, but I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. Was I going to tell him a story? Was I going to just say, I just wasn't sure how it was going to go. And I thought, my dad was gonna get up and, storm out of the restaurant, and my mom was gonna cry, and, she was gonna say, how could you do this to us? And I mean, it's like every possible scenario you can think of. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, I was like super anxious and extremely scared, and I just didn't want to disappoint my parents.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I had sleepless nights. I was just thinking about it, every possible scenario that could possibly, go. I was like really nervous, my hands were sweaty. I mean, it's normal reaction, I guess.
Okay, so describe to me the setting on when you did.
So there's like this little family restaurant that we go to. It's nothing fancy, I've been going there since I was like a little kid, and it's like really home style cooking. It's like really laid back, low key, nothing fancy. My dad's really friendly with the owner. They've seen me grown up, as a matter of fact, when I was younger, I worked there in the summer, so it's not like, it's like a family type of thing.
Do you have a favorite dish?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's, it's just, kind of like home cooked meals. I don't really, it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just homey.
Okay. So then you got to the restaurant.
Yeah, so we got to the restaurant, and, my mom was surprised that, I suggested that we should go out to eat during the week, because we never got to eat during the week. It's usually like on a weekend type of thing, or a Friday night, but so we went out to eat, and when we got there, they're both talking about their day, and I said, I have something to tell you, and my mom of course started saying, oh my God, what's wrong? Are you pregnant? Do you have a drug problem? And I said, no, Mom, it's not. My dad is a little bit more calm, and he said, no, just let her speak. Let's let her hear, what she has to say. So I didn't know what to say, so I just said, I don't want to go into the medical field. And they just said, okay, go on, we're listening. So I pulled out this folder that I had, and I pulled out, all the information, all the research. I pulled out a copy of my transcripts, the required courses, the program structure, and I told them this is where my heart is, and this is where I would be the happiest, and and they just sat there and they just listened. And then my dad put his hand over my hand, and he said, we support your decision 100%. We just want you to be happy. And that was it. That was the end of it. And I thought, what? No screaming? No shouting? No blaming? What's going on? And, my dad said that he just wants me to be happy. And my mom said she supports anything I want to do. They just want me to be able to go to work, be happy, and take care of myself.
And could you tell me how that response made you feel?
I felt like there was this elephant that I was carrying on my shoulder that finally got off my shoulders. It was this big sigh of relief. I couldn't believe it. I had made such a big deal about not being able to speak to my parents. And I realized that they value my opinion. But I just have to learn to speak up and tell them what I think and what I feel. And ultimately, it's really about my career choice and what I want to do with my life, And I realized that all they want is for me to be happy and for me to be okay with what I do. They don't want me to be them. They want me to be me. And all my life I felt like I needed to please them and I needed to meet their standards. And this is stuff I had created in my head. And I don't have to meet their standards because there's no standards to meet. They just want me to be happy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ultimately. Wow, I'm really glad that you were able to describe that experience and describe how that made you feel. And, I'm glad that you were able to recognize that they truly, your parents value your opinion. I remember in the first session how you described the value of their opinion and how much it was important, whatever they said went. And I think that now that you spoke up for yourself, told them ultimately what you want to do, presented them with somewhat evidence, as in, this is what you've done, this is your transcript, this is your application, this is what your next career path you would like to take. And I think in a way they respected you and see you as more of an individual speaking up for yourselves. And I think ultimately your parents would want you to be happy. Of course they want you to make sure to have a career that's going to have stability and you're going to make something out of yourself, that ultimately they want you to be happy. And
yeah, my mom said she was very impressed that I presented a strong case as to why I wanted this career move, and my mom said that she had no idea how I felt about medicine, that she just assumed that's something that I wanted to do. And my dad said he was sorry for not ever asking me what it was that I wanted to do. So I think it was a lot of miscommunication. I think they assumed that this is what I'm going to do, and I assumed that this is what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
But after actually speaking up and saying, this is how I feel, and this is what I want, and this is the research, and I can never be as smart as you guys, and they said no, that I was very smart for actually taking the initiative to tell them how I felt.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. It seemed like they valued me.
Definitely.
And they saw that I'm a grown person now.
Right, and I would think that, or from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they are supporting and understanding. And I think ultimately that's the most important, barrier between a child and their parents, is that they need support and understanding that no matter what they choose, as long as they have that support system and their parents understand why they want to do it, it's ultimately up to their student or child's choice. And I think it's all through a learning experience as well. And for example, with our session, could you tell me if you learned anything throughout this whole experience that maybe you're able to take it within the future?
Speak up. Just, speak up and go with my feelings. Don't let people tell me or think that they know what I want. Don't assume that people understand what I'm coming from. To just learn to be more assertive and just to speak up.
Yeah.
But, I think better communication skills and just having a little bit more assertiveness or trusting me,
Right.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think that's been a challenge, but being able to talk to my parents and taking it to a whole different level where I had this crazy visions of my parents storming out and realizing that, that really only happens in the movies, that
The movies that you want to create, the movies that you're going to be behind the scenes and
Exactly.
creating the interior designs and the scenes.
yeah,
That's just your imagination.
Yeah, my dad was really excited, and I remember I mentioned that we had friends who worked in the movie industry. So my dad, had said, he asked if I had talked to our mutual friends, and I didn't know what to say because I didn't want to get anyone else, involved, or I didn't want them to feel like they had lured me into my decision making. But he suggested that maybe I can speak to them and maybe do like a summer internship just to make sure that this is what I really wanted to go towards. And I said that I was going to look into it, but little does he know that I started doing that already.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
you're already ahead of the game.
I am. So I'm like really excited about the way my life is turning around, and I feel a little bit more assured and more secure of my decisions. I feel like it's part of growing up, growing pains.
Absolutely. I'm definitely really happy and thrilled to see that you've learned. Do you need some water?
No, I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled that you've learned through this experience. You started off with valuing your parents' opinion strongly, and you were worried about how are you going to tell them this. Now that you've told them, now you feel much more relieved. You feel a whole bunch of weight lifted off your shoulders. And sometimes, we think that presenting an idea or something we want to say to our parents, we think the worst because we just don't know what the outcome is. But little do we know, hey, it actually was a lot smoother than you really thought it was. And I'm glad that you're able to, have a better idea to speak up for yourself, an understanding of yourself, and value your own opinion rather than, concerned about others' opinion, especially your parents, of course, because the least thing that we want to do is disappoint our parents. But I'm really glad that this was a learning experience for you. And I definitely hope moving forward you'll be able to take some of the helpful tips and things that you've learned about yourself as an individual. And I hope, your family, between yourself and your parents, this is just some kind of way of, getting closer to each other and having a better understanding and support, because it's really awesome that your parents, specifically your father, wanting to go ahead and, get you connected with one of the family members or mutual friends who is in the movie industry. So, those resources are awesome, and all you could do is just take what you can get and, keep doing what makes you happy, ultimately.
Yeah. So thank you. I wanted to thank you for pushing me, and because I don't think I could have done this without you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. I really appreciate those words so much. Now, my office is always open for you. I know you're going to transition to another school, but just know from here and moving on forward, you know where my office is. You have my connection as to how to contact me. Just don't ever feel that just because you may not be in the same school, I may not be your advisor. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me for the past 3 sessions. I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to hear, the more exciting news to come into the future.
Definitely. I will come and say bye. But it won't be a goodbye forever, I hope.
It's a see you later,
It's
right?
a see you later.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thanks. You too. Bye.